Ave, gentle beings! It's time to get into some details of Crusader Kings. And I would like to show you skills and education. Alright, I've opened up the Ruler Designer to get an easier glance of what things are going on. As you probably have seen, there are 5 major skill sets that are important in this game, and they overlap with what your council can do. They help, so in a sense they are the values that are important to a good ruler. These are diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, and learning. Diplomacy is very useful for people liking you and, for example, getting claims on things. Martial is how good you can fight on the personal level, but also how good of a commander you are. Stewardship is how good you are with money, so how much tax you get in, how much things cost. And intrigue is how good are you plotting and backstabbing people. Makes assassinations easier and can do more devious things. And learning is mostly useful for the culture of things. So for example, the priests really dig that, and some storylines depend heavily on it. Haven't been too much into it as of yet, but it's really interesting to see what you can do with that, and there's some really funny things going on. These 5 are all important, but they also force you in a kind of play style to do. If you're good at martial, you will be able to fight a lot better, get more troops and get them cheaper. Stewardship is just for building and getting a lot more gold, and gold is useful for almost everything in this game. Diplomacy is very useful to keep people liking you more and keeping them in line, which is always useful because you want to keep people in line and make them do what you want to do. Intrigue is the backstabbing. So they all got their things going on. They have basic stats, and 5 is about normal. 5 is about being somewhat competent in it. But to really excel at things, you would like to have it at least 15 plus or 20 plus. The highest I've seen anything go is, I think, near 40-ish, and that's with martial. But there are some modifiers that can change this. The first one and the biggest one is the education. So let's see, and for every major skill of the 5 ones we have here, or stats, there are modifiers. So the dark blue ones here are for diplomacy. The martials are the one here with the red one. Then stewardship are the yellow ones here. Intrigue are the purple ones, and learning are below here are the white ones. And they all have you see a price tag here. That's how much it costs in the Ruler Designer to get it. It also shows you how useful it is. So for example, if we take diplomacy, it goes from a naive appeaser to underhand rogue to charismatic negotiator to grey eminence, and they all got their bonuses and negatives. So naive appeaser is, well, it gives the diplomacy +1 but also -1 for martial. Underhand rogue gets diplomacy of +3, gets more fertility, but still the martial -1. Charismatic negotiator ups it even to diplomacy +1, +1 learning, 1 plus intrigue, but martial still -1 and still the fertility bonus. And the grey eminence is even diplomacy +9. So you see it gets huge bonuses to a number of things. So it's important to get the right education for what you want them to do. And the higher you are in the education steps, there are 4 steps for each of them, the better they are. So you will want to keep an eye on your kids, the next one in line, and get them the best education they can get. It's gonna impact the game a bit, and sometimes you can get better at things. For example, especially with the martial line, you can get better by events and by storylines. Alright, that was it for this. See you all next time.